All right. What's up, Brian?
What's up, man? Nice to see you here. Law?
Likewise, man. So
I was happy to get your email, and when I clicked on your link, I was very happy to see who it was because I've actually watched some of your stuff, and I really enjoy the quality of it, and I think that we need more of that in this industry. So thank you for putting in that effort.
I appreciate that, man. It's that was the whole idea behind it. Is the cigar industry is missing very high quality content. Tim from Cigars Daily does very good
Great
information,
yep.
But it's just talking head stuff. It's not highly produced.
Sure.
So I wanted to bring that next level in.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks, man. I appreciate the kind words.
Of course.
So let's get into this whole cease and desist debacle that's going on because you got a lot of history with some of the guys behind this, right?
Yeah. Sort of, yes. And that's the part that's confusing for me is that I don't have a lot of history with bunny droppings. I know who he is. We had one phone call one time. I don't really follow his thing. It's not my thing that he, his style. It's not really for me, but I've never bashed him because I didn't like it. I was kind of really shocked, to be honest with you, to get a cease and desist from him. And basically, from what I can gather, it would seem as though he may have planned to put out a cigar of the same name. But for me, I'm just doing a Chinese Zodiac. I happen to change the R to a W to make it funny. It's a parody kind of thing on the Chinese New Year because, look, you can't do Chinese New Year better than it's been done already. Davidoff crushes it. Maya Selva crushes it. Plasencia crushes it. It's so mature and polished and red and gold. And, so I wanted to do something that was more whimsical and a little more nostalgic. And so I figured let's do Year of the Wabbit because I wanted to play around with bugs. I wanted to play around with Roger Rabbit in particular, but we kept coming up with things, and I was like, this is going to be a problem. So let's not do that. So we just did Year of the Wabbit. And so I got the cease and desist, and basically the cease and desist came with you can't use this because once upon a time we used the word Wabbit, a project called Wabbit Season, I guess this guy had put out. And so for me, I felt like the two things had nothing to do with each other, and they filed for trademark for Wabbit Season and Year of the Wabbit on the same day they sent me the cease and desist. And for anyone out there that doesn't understand what that means is, it's basically like, imagine if you put out a product called the Yellow Smasher and some company wrote you a week after you put it out and said, hey, you can't sell this product because we're going to put out a product called the Yellow Smasher and we have a trademark application for it that we filed yesterday, but you put it out last week. So it's like, well, but I'm already in common law use, like I'm using it already. So I was very confused. The law firm has been extremely aggressive. If I didn't have the support of, 20,000 people behind me and, a bunch of lawyers in the club, and I would have felt very bullied by this. If I didn't have money to fight the case, to be frank, I would feel very bullied by this. If I was someone that didn't have money to fight a case, a real case, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in litigation. And, if I didn't have money to fight that case, I would be very concerned with this.
Yeah, and I've talked to, because I know Bunny Boy just in passing. I've met him at PCA. I saw him at the Great Smoke this year, but didn't really talk to him much. But
was he wearing the suit?
Of course, he's always wearing the suit.
Oh my gosh.
I love the suit. I love the suit. I think it's great.
He's not the first guy to wear the suit, right?
In the cigar industry?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Baxter's, Arizona. That guy used to wear a pink bunny suit to events. So
really?
Yeah, it's real easy to think we're all original if you don't know our history,
Right. I didn't know that. That's new information to me.
Yeah.
But he did tell me that his lawyers reached out to you, and as of right now, you're representing yourself.
I am representing myself. I will not put a dime into legal fees on this case. It's just not going to happen. It's a clear cut. I'm already in use. When I filed, I had to file for the trademark as soon as I knew that they filed for the trademark because I knew they were trying to use it against me. But at least they were honest about that, and they filed their trademark. There's two ways you can file a trademark. One is my product is already in use, and here's an example of that. And then there's another way that I'm going to use this in the future, and I'd like to trademark it so no one else can use it. And that's how they did theirs, and I did mine as already in use because it was already in use.
Right, and what this case is going to come down to, because it's so convoluted and it's such a great area all around, is pretty much whatever the case handler decides. It's going to be pretty much his opinion. Because
I disagree completely. I do, Law, because even if the trademark USPTO approves his application and not mine, I just have to stop using it at that point.
They can't turn around and come back to you and be like, we want all the profit you made off of this thing.
It was already in use. We have proof of that. We already sold 9,000 of these things before we ever received the letter. So no, not really. And what's the worst that could happen? They could come after me for the profit on 9,000 cigars? Okay. Yeah. Right now, they're just doing a great marketing job for us. You can't buy marketing like this.
Well, that's kind of the thing I love about you, is that, like, this is our first time talking, but you're infamous in the industry. In the real use of the word, you are known in kind of a bad way in the industry, because you get in all these public altercations with a lot of these legacy guys in the industry. And but
I'm gonna disagree with that too. I like, first of all, I have more love than probably anyone else in this industry. Like I said, I have 18,000 people that on a monthly basis give me their money so that I, not knowing what they're going to get in return, they're trusting me. They're putting faith in me to go out and find us the best cigars in the world. And look at this craft cigar culture that we spawned because of that faith that they have in me. And then the manufacturers, where we shine light on the people who are actually making the products, not just people that are fakely making the products, that are saying they make the products and just putting their name on it and selling it. So we have 99 million ounces of love and a couple ounces of hate, because people are jealous of how this thing is taken off. And it's understandable. I would be too. If I was doing this for 25 years and some kid comes, it will happen one day. Some kid's going to come out of left field and in 5 years be bigger than me. I'll be pissed. Of course, it's understandable. It's human nature.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think, like, because you're so nuclear in the cigar industry that I've talked to a few people. And of course, there's people that said nothing but bad things. They're like, don't tell them I said this. So don't tell anybody I said this. But there were also people that said good things about you. And we're like, you can't tell the public I said good things about him. It could hurt my relationship with other people.
Yeah.
That's a pretty, like, you're a hot button topic everywhere.
Yeah. Privada is the most talked about things in Privada, and the Limited Cigar Association is the most talked about thing in cigars for the last few years, and we're very lucky and blessed for that. Although some of that may seem a little bit of a negative at times, I think we've been able to positively spin that in the long run. And when I say spin, I mean basically use that attention to then focus the attention on the people that are actually making the products, traveling to their countries, doing documentaries on them, filming the behind the scenes of the people who have been making these products for 20, 30, 40 years, but have never been allowed outside of behind the curtain. And so, you know, we've taken that attention and done some really positive, good things that are creating a new cigar culture, the craft cigar culture, that is strong as a mug. And I'm proud of that. And that's what people are going to remember, Law. They're not going to remember, or maybe they will. Hey, oh, you should have heard what this guy said it was this one time. Yeah, but then when the new guy goes, okay, let me check him out, and he or she sees all this culture, they're like, whoa, I want to get into this. They become a member, and then they're like, I thought I was smoking cigars before Privada, but I didn't understand what I was smoking. This has made it a whole journey and an experience that like no one else has done before, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I will say I have a lot of friends that like they don't talk great about your product, but I don't take anyone's word. You know, I believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see.
Here's the thing about that, Law, and I appreciate you saying that. but I don't make products. I'm not a gringo that goes down to Dominican Republic, puts my name on a box, and then sells it here. Everything we do is made by AJ, Eladio, Oman in Costa Rica. I mean, you know, the greatest people our industry has to offer by way of manufacturing. Those are the only people I work with. So I always find it funny when people say, I don't like his stuff. It's like, okay, so you don't like the entire industry stuff, because I don't make cigars. I curate. Yeah. That's it. And I'll never be a blender. I'm not trying to be Pete or Dion or Nick or any of these guys. God bless them. Mad respect. And those people that I just mentioned know more about tobacco than most of the people in the industry. So again, respect. I'm just saying that's my goal, isn't to become the owner of a brand. My goal is to create this craft cigar culture, which we've done, and we're going to grow it now, you know? So when people say they don't like my stuff, I'm like, wow, you just must not like cigars then. That's crazy.
Well, as long as the construction's good, right? Like, because flavor's extremely subjective. Mm-hmm. Like, I did this video where we took the Oliva Series V Milanio, and I took all the reviews from all the different big guys, you know, Cigar Dojo, Cigar Coop, Cigar Aficionado, Half Wheel. Like, I took all their reviews, and none of them agreed with each other on the flavor profiles in that cigar.
It depends on what you ate, what time of day it is, the season of the year, everything. So yes.
And Michael Herklotz says that. He goes, I don't know what a clean palate is. Is that after I drink some scotch, or is that after I brush my teeth? I don't know.
He's right. Shout out to Michael Herklotz. He's a great dude.
Great dude. So I have this like respect for what you do. Mm-hmm. Because I think it's brilliant that you take these situations and you get so much attention for them. And it's free marketing. It's outrage marketing. Like Disney does this right now, right? Like with the Buzz Lightyear movie, mm-hmm. like they're the ones who made it such a big deal about like the two moms kissing, right? And then it got spread all throughout conservative media, and it was just free publicity. Like, you don't have to. That would be like a couple $100 million in marketing for them.
That I actually don't do that. That's taking it a little bit of a step further. I just capitalize on it when it comes to me. I don't just stay quiet typically. Although over the last 6 months, I've practiced keeping my mouth shut a little bit more and just focusing on the work. But when something like this happens, I have to talk about it because I'm so transparent. The people in Privada Cigar Club, it's as though they're getting a reality show into the building of the actual business. They follow me along. They see the new warehouses as we open them. They watch the makings and the beginnings of the products. They see me go to factories and smoke test blends and say, let's try this, but like more like this. And, you know, so then they get to finally get that product. And when they get the product, they're getting tasting notes, a review on the cigar, pairing notes, pictures, the story of why the cigar was created in the first place and who made it. And it makes it this whole experience that's really taken over this industry.
Yeah, definitely. And the first time I heard about Privada Cigar Club was through Jeremy Sears, and he was smoking the Padilla Miami, and he was going over all the tasting notes, and I thought it was great. I was like,
was that the first time you ever heard of Padilla before that?
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I was proud of that.
And then the second time I heard of Padilla is when you got in a fight with him.
Yep.
On social media.
Yep.
And I reached out to him, and I was surprised to hear that after you guys went back and forth with a couple videos, that you like messaged him. It was like, hey man, you know, good first round, you know, no hard feelings. Like I think we're both gonna, you know, let's do this again if you want, you know? And I was like, that's when I started thinking, like, is this just a marketing thing for Brian? Like, is this like these, because it gets a ton of attention.
Sure.
It always does.
So I just want to say this. When I first met Padilla, he was licensing his name to Cigars International to sell short filler cigars, dollar cigars.
Yeah.
That's who Padilla was when we met him. We elevated him to be a part of the next generation of cigar smokers. I didn't know as much about the actual manufacturing of tobacco. If I had to do it all over again, he probably wouldn't be someone that I focused on. But it was part of my learning process, part of the stepping stone to get to the masters, the greats like AJ, like Eladio, these people. And so I don't take it back. But the reason I see what you're saying and I see how that looks, like the optics on that are like, well, if it's real beef, then why are you messaging the guy? And the reason for that is because I felt that we were friends and I didn't want it to ruin the friendship. He said something that he was completely talking out of his ass. He has no idea about growing tobacco. I don't think he's ever even been to a tobacco field, let alone understands what the pH balance of soil in a part of Peru that is actually not that far from the place in Ecuador where 90% of all wrappers come from. He was basically saying you can't grow a good wrapper in Peru because the pH balance is so bad there. Like, he had no idea what he was talking about. So when I fired back at him, I wanted to make sure that he understands that, hey, look, this is me firing back at you on social media, but on a personal note, I'm cool with you. And if you want to go back and forth, we can. Yeah.
I mean, I find it hard to believe that in his 20, 25 years in the industry that he's never been to a tobacco field, but it could be. But
you ever see him in a tobacco field?
I have not personally, no.
Because that's the first step a brand does. They take a picture of themselves in a tobacco field, and that's all you ever see for the next 10 years. So, I don't think Padillas ever actually goes to the factories.
And there's a funny story.
Except for El Titan. Shout out to El Titan de Bronze in Miami. Amazing place.
There's actually a funny story. Aganorsa was telling me that all the manufacturers, before they had their own fields, would use their fields for tours of their factories and be like, hey, welcome to our tobacco fields. And, and like people would go on different tours and be like, I've been to this field before. Are you sure this is your field?
I figured this out really quickly, and the shit kind of rolls uphill to the point where you have a lot of people that, and I would never come out with this, but there are people that in our industry, figureheads of our industry, that their consumers love them so much that they wouldn't believe the truth. And so my thing quickly became, all right, I got to get around the brands and to the actual people making the products, because that's how I'm going to get the best stuff made for myself and my members. And that's all I'm here for. At the end, Law, I came here to discover and find the best tobaccos in the world, and that's what we're doing. And no matter how much drama, no matter how much legal issues, no matter how much of this, no matter how many members we keep, that's what I'm going to continue to do. That's why I'm in Costa Rica. That's why I'm in Nicaragua. That's why I'm going to see these people in these places, listen to them, and try to bring it back to the consumer to understand that this isn't a commodity. Did you know it takes a year to make a Rolex?
I did not. No.
I would say a Rolex is a pretty staunch luxury item. It took 3 years to make the cigar that I'm smoking before it was even aged. Okay? Yeah. So this is a luxury product. This is a craft. And a lot of people make shit because they have to, because they've been looked at as commodity makers. When we can show them the respect they deserve and get them an extra quarter, an extra 50 cents, an extra $1 per cigar, they can dig in deeper. They can ferment longer. They can not cut the corners, because that's all this business comes down to. Producing great cigars all comes down to how many corners you had to cut. And very few people like AJ they have the luxury of not having to cut any corners at all. And that's where you see masterful products being made. And that's where I want to live. That's my headspace. I don't need a guy in Chicago or Milwaukee or wherever else telling me about how they blended a cigar that they didn't actually blend. I don't know if I can believe that or not. And I've been lied to by so many brands that I just decided, hey, and that's not saying that we don't support brands. We have the shop, our online shop at PrivadaCigarClub.com. You can go there, buy any brand you want, and we'll always carry brands. And I'll do my best to support brands, but I'm looking for more vertical integration, at least factory owners, things like that, that those are products that I can get behind because they're in control of those products.
And those are rare because there's only it's mostly people that grow tobacco and people that process tobacco.
Your shit, Law. You know your shit, because you're right. It becomes like the NBA. It's like, you probably have, 1,000 players, but like 20 of them are worth their weight. You know what I'm saying? And if you can manage to get 3 out of those 20 on a team, you might just win a championship. And so that's how it is in pretty much any industry. And this business is not unlike. I have a lot of people say, hey, I want more variety of, less of this guy and more of that. And it's like, my man, there's only like 5 people that are like completely vertically integrated. Then you have probably another 50 that are half, they own their own factories and so on and so forth. So, you know, I think that's where a lot of my artwork and the project naming, that's what I do, the branding. Yeah. I think that's where that keeps cigars exciting enough to want to continue to keep trying, you know, people's stuff.
Yeah, I definitely think there's different ways you can come at it. Because, you know, you or I think also Bunny Droppings or Matt Booth, like you guys, your branding, I think is all brilliant. You guys do an amazing job with branding.
Where did his cigars come from?
Whose?
Bunny's.
I don't know. He doesn't like to tell that. But
that's interesting.
Yeah. I could, with some of the information he's given me, I could figure it out probably, but it seemed, you know, it seemed like he didn't want me to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
But actually let's get back to the Padilla thing about the marketing thing. So what Padilla told me was that after everything went down, because I talked to him for like 2 or 3 hours right after that, he's like, I got so many followers from that. And I started realizing, and I've been telling people this, like it's not a zero-sum game. Like every time one of these online altercations
this is the best. Bunny
everybody walks away better.
Whatever Bunny's paying these lawyers, this is the best marketing money he could have ever paid, because so many more people know about him now. That's why I'm not opposed to just saying that his name, and I don't care. This is going to add value to him. It's not going to take anything away.
And I know
my people probably won't want to smoke his stuff, but more people will know about him. The problem with him is it's the bunny suit. How long can you keep that up for? It's the weird, it's a very niche personal humor, jail stuff. Kind of when I looked at his stuff, it's like hiding stuff up your butt. And like, that's just, I'm not into that. And I'm willing to bet probably 90% of the market. So he's going to have his niche no matter what. And I respect those people for, liking that. But I'm about where the product comes from. I don't care about your gimmick marketing. You know what I mean? Everyone looks at Privada, gimmick marketing. No, it's not. It's making you pay attention to some of the best products that have been released over the last 5 years. So I'll keep doing that.
Like, I do like the way, Bunny Droppings does their stuff. I like the way Justin markets it. Like, because I was in the military, he was in the military, and you develop a fucked up sense of humor when you're in the military. Okay. And so I think his stuff is hilarious.
Like I said, I clearly said it before. I respect people that like that stuff too, and I respect him. But that's not my style. That's all.
Right. And at the same time, the manufacturer that I talked to that was like, you can't tell people I said good things about him. He said that you went really hard on the blending. Like you were very specific on what you wanted. You wanted like just a little bit more of a leaf that had this flavor profile in it added, and that a lot of people weren't happy with the band design. And when you explained your reasoning behind the band design, everyone's like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. That's, like, and
it became their biggest product to date.
Yes. Okay, so you know who I'm talking about.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Please don't say it publicly, because
I won't. No, I won't. I respect them, and I respect you, and I respect the fact that you did research. Holy shit. Do you know the exact same email you sent me? When I tell you it's almost verbatim, a guy about 6 or 7 months ago, his name is Dick Holden. He had sent me this email basically saying the same thing. And I did the same thing with him that I did with you. I clicked on his link. I saw that he had 5 followers. I saw that he put unlike you, I saw that he put 0 work into anything. It was all just like Instagram lives, him smoking a cigar. And not for nothing, I got 18,000 people to serve and a family to attend to. I don't have time for that. You did research on this, bro. I'm so proud of you right now. Like the fact that you even have people that don't want to be named, like sources and stuff like this. We need this. I highly recommend you call Danny at cigarpublic.com and start using that platform to get out your stuff, because more people need to know about you.
Absolutely. I'd love to. Actually, with that whole Dick Holden thing, I was looking into that, and I got mad when he released his thing, because I was doing research into that myself. Because I'm like, as a veteran, I'm like, veteran charity, I want to look into this.
Of course. And that was hurtful. That hurt. That was hurtful for me. That hurt me.
That he looked into it, or I looked into it?
No, that he would spread a lie like that.
Yeah. Well, so when I looked into it, Because
so I don't think the viewers understand. There's a guy named Dick Holden. I call him Holden Dick, and Holden Dick put out a thing saying that he called some. I released like a regional group situation with these guys called Caliber Cigars. The cigar did not sell well. It was a dog. I promised that we would give proceeds of the profits to that charity.
Canines for Warriors.
Canines for Warriors. Shout out to them. We're going to be doing more work with them. We did donate. I guess he called up, which to me already just means like you don't trust. Like, wow, okay, you called up the charity, and he said, "Did Privada Cigar Club give money?" And they said, "Well, we don't have a record of Privada Cigar Club." So I called up and I said, "Please give me my receipts." I posted my receipt on Instagram, and it's clearly there. I gave it under Brian Descent, not under Privada Cigar Club. You can call them to this day. They've written me letters since. They saw what happened on Instagram, and they felt terrible about it. And so we're going to be doing something with them to raise like 10 grand. I then went back to Holden Dick, and I said, listen, I see we got off on the wrong foot, but you want to create some noise? Let's make something positive happen out of this noise. I'm going to do this thing where we get them $10,000 through the proceeds of a product. I'll teach you everything I know about cigars. I'll tell you everything. I'll even fly you down here, teach you everything I know. We'll make a product together. We'll put it out, and we'll give every piece of the profit to Canines for Warriors. And if we don't make $10,000, I'll put in the rest. And he took the email and posted images of it online. I mean, the guy's a real douche, which is probably why he's living in his mom's basement at 50 years old.
Let me ask you though, because when I was looking into it, you made it sound like it was a cigar company that already existed, right? And I found the guy that designed the logo somehow. I guess he posted it on Behance. Yeah,
Sedated,
yeah. I found him on Behance, and I reached out to him. He like responded at first, but then when he saw I was like trying to dig into it, he like ignored me.
There's nothing to dig into. We do these things called regional groups here.
Yeah,
we've had many of them come through, and we basically, it allows our consumers, our members, our family, our friends, my brothers and sisters, to basically create their own line of cigars. And so this was kind of a precursor to that. These were some of the first guys that I kind of ever extended this opportunity to.
Yeah.
And we put out
two of them.
Yeah,
right?
we put them out, and I would like to believe that we live in a place where I could buy cigar A and no one gets any money from it other than the companies, and cigar B where I get charity or some of my money goes to a charity. Unfortunately, that's just not the way human beings work. I'm sure Holden Dick did not buy that cigar either, and it's probably our worst selling cigar on the site. So that was disheartening for me, but I just pick it up. I didn't make a big deal out of it. I'm not going to push anything on anyone. If you don't want to buy it, you don't want to buy it. Let's move on to the next project. You know, if those guys were super, super duper serious about their brand, they would have kept going, but they took the wind out of their sails a little bit and they went back to rethink, and they're trying other things now.
Let me just ask you, because it did seem a little like shady to me. Mm-hmm. Why did you pay under your privately instead of under the Privada name?
I just used my credit card.
Yeah.
It just came up as Brian Descent. I don't know. I could look into that, but I mean, my credit card says both my name and my personal. So I don't know. But what I do know is I have receipts and letters from the company saying how much I donated. So that's proof. I don't think you should be heard about it anymore, because we have proof that that's not the case. I would never do something like that. I give away more cigars than these guys could ever buy. We have things where we donate boxes to members that lose their jobs. I mean, we do so much stuff. I'm not here to talk about what a good guy I am. I'll leave that to the bullshit artists.
Yes. Yeah.
My work speaks for me.
Let's get deeper into the whole Year of the Wabbit thing. Because to me, it's a very interesting case, because to me it's very gray. Like I don't think
what's gray about the fact that we already put the product out before they even filed for the trademark.
And that's what I want to ask you. Like, when did you first start designing the packaging for this product?
6 months ago, probably 5 months ago.
Okay, so
it takes 60 days to even print, ship, all that stuff. Yeah. So we've had this product for quite a while.
Right. So when Vitamin C, or bunny droppings, when they filed their patent or their trademark on March 24th, they didn't have a specimen, which is a picture of the product, right?
Right. They don't have a product.
Yeah. And you filed 5 days later. You did have a specimen. You had obviously the really awesome packaging you made.
Thank you so much. It's the first time that foil has ever been used on a cigar band. So I
love it. It's great. It looks really good.
Thank you so much.
What I found really interesting is that Warner Brothers never trademarked Wabbit. That was the most shocking thing to me.
That's why I wouldn't even think about doing it. I would imagine that they would own it, and if they don't, it's still theirs. They've been using it before everyone. If they sent me a cease and desist and said, don't use this, I would say, okay. But in this particular case, this is just a guy trying to stop me from doing business so that he can put out a product. And by the way, he was trying to stop 450 shops across this great nation from profiting that week. He was trying to take money out of 450 shops. So any of you shops out there, particularly Limited Cigar Association shops, this guy tried to stop you from making money this month. And we all know this thing is viral. So that would be a large amount. People want this product. So that's not cool, man. They should have called. What happened to emailing someone and say, hey, dude, I was thinking about doing this. I would have supported. Forget about it. Who cares?
I would have, because it's releasing today, right? Mm-hmm. I would imagine that if you did decide to just like not do anything with it, you would just recall those cigars, rebrand them, and send them back out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I figured.
Oh, hold on. Rebrand them and send them back out?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have done that with those.
If you decided to like follow the cease and desist and be like, all right, I'm not going to put it out.
If I had to pull those cigars back, what would I have done with them?
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah. I have 18,000 subscriptions that go out every month. I know these people, not all 18,000, but thousands of them. I know them. They're my friends online. Sometimes they come to Privada. I wouldn't have any problem moving that under the radar. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah. I would, so no, it would have made it even cooler had I done that. But I'm not going to stop 450 shops from making profit that month. I'll take a loss on my end before that ever happens. And if that means I have to go to court and fly to Idaho, which I don't understand why. They hired a law firm with 3 offices: Idaho, Spokane, and Vegas.
Yeah.
So
and from what I hear, it's a pretty high up law firm.
Oh yeah, it's probably at least $600 to $1,200 an hour. Yeah. So where is Justin? No offense to Justin, but where is Justin, a guy who's never really sold real amounts of product? Where's he getting this money from? He looks like he's probably, whatever. He's not in my situation, and I've been in his situation, so I respect it. I'm not here to put anyone down. I'm just saying he doesn't have $1,200 an hour law firm money. So where's this money coming from?
So you did call this out in your response to the cease and desist, and you're like, I don't think it's Justin. I think it's somebody behind him. And when I talked to him, he said, and I quote, and he said I could say this, he has friends with deep pockets that are backing him on everything.
So who's his friends? Who are his friends?
That he would not tell me.
Okay, but I'm asking you though. I'm asking you as someone that's into cigars, goes to events and sees this guy. You're on his Instagram. You see, who are his friends in your opinion that you can see optically, like visually?
I'm not going to say.
Why? Who do you see? Who's his mentor? Who's in pictures with him?
I mean, he hangs out with Matt Booth. Mm-hmm.
Where's Matt Booth from? He's from Spokane, isn't he?
I don't know. As far as I know, he's in LA.
No, he's not in LA. He lives in Spokane. It looks bad on Matt's part. Yeah. So you're now an employee of a publicly traded company, and you're allegedly funding lawsuits for your friends against me, who's in the same business as the publicly traded firm that you're. This shit doesn't look good. Now I'll give Matt Booth the benefit of the doubt and say I just don't understand why a guy in Texas hires a firm out of Spokane and his boy lives there. It looks bad, Matt, and I hope that you send me an email and tell me that that's not the case, but it looks bad. That's what people are telling me.
That's speculation. And maybe you heard something from someone else. I don't know. I don't know who's backing him. I don't know how much money Matt Booth has or anything. I really like the guy. He's been nothing but kind to me. And as far as I know, he's out of LA and I think Seattle. So that's what I know.
Okay. Well, Matt and me are friends, and he's out of Spokane. So.
I mean, we've met a few times. I've interviewed him a couple times. And we're
friends. Like we're. I've sent people to his house.
If you're friends, why would he do this?
I don't know. I hope he didn't. I'm not saying he did. I'm saying how it looks. Yeah. Optically, like that dude should come out and be like, hey, or at least send me a text saying, hey, by the way, that's not me. I'm not putting money into this thing.
Well, I did also talk to Bunny Boy about that, and he said he tried to reach out to you and that you blocked him a while ago. You blocked his number.
I changed my number. I changed my number back in December.
Okay. He said it was about 6 months ago-ish. Yeah.
Yeah. I changed my number in December, I believe. I told all my people, hey, I changed my number. Everyone knows there's record of that publicly. Like, hey, changed my number, unfortunately, you know.
But
I have an email. My email is the same. They knew my email. They sent the cease and desist to my email. Yes. So he didn't try very hard to reach out to me. And he could have DM'd me too, but whatever.
And did you receive some more mail from the law from yesterday? Mm-hmm. What was that about?
Bullying.
Yeah.
No, we don't care that the law says if the product was already in use, we can't even question it until we actually win the trademark. We just don't want you to put this product out. And if you do, we are guaranteed to litigate and sue you. We are 100% going to. That's happening. That's what the letter said, basically.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think they were alluding to like perjury or something with yesterday's new filing.
I didn't get anything about perjury, no.
Okay. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't have the greatest memory. And I wasn't writing things down yesterday.
I think I know what you're saying. They didn't say perjury. They said basically like that's not true. But how could it not be true when we had already sold 9,000 of them 4 days or 2 or 3 days prior to them actually sending the letter? So I don't know how they wanted proof. I'm not sending any proof to any lawyer. No, I don't need proof. My proof is it's in 450 shops right now. You think from last Friday to this Friday, we got 10,000 cigars in 450 shops in 1 week? No, it doesn't work like that. No, you start preparing for 2 weeks, 3 weeks prior.
I think it comes down to whether or not they allow one of you to trademark just the word Wabbit, because I don't think the common law trademark will work because he did Wabbit season before, and now he's doing year of the Wabbit. So I don't think
Why though? It's a limited edition product. Davidoff puts out Year of the Rabbit. Placencia puts out Year of the Rabbit. Maya Selva puts out Year of the Rabbit. So because I got cute with it and it happened to be an idea he was thinking about doing, now all of a sudden him and his rich friends want to hire attorneys to literally bully me. If I didn't have money, if I didn't have the support of all these people, if I didn't have like 100 lawyers in my club, I would have had to back down. Yeah. I wouldn't have known enough.
Yeah,
but every one of the lawyers that looked at it has been like, dude, no, come on, stop. Just put it out. Yeah. Just put it out. Don't worry about it. Put it out. Let them litigate. You'll get an injunction and fuck them. That's what Dave said. I don't think we're going to litigation. I'm not spending, whoever's funding this, just know that I'm not spending a dime on this. No attorneys have been hired, nor will they be hired. I will represent myself, and I don't even care if I lose. All you're doing is spending your money, and I'm laughing my ass off. That's it. And even if I have to give you, because let me tell you what would happen if I hired an attorney. Here's what would happen. It would be the Gwyneth Paltrow thing. They would sue. I would win based on the 3 attorneys that have seen all the paperwork and everything and know what's going on. They would sue. We would win. I'd countersue for money. And here's the thing. All his rich friends would quietly back out of the room and leave Bunny holding the bag to pay my lawyer fees. Bunny would not be able to do that. So he would have to file for bankruptcy and start something else down the road, and it would be really shitty for him. A, I don't want to do that to that guy. B, I'm not going to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get to a point where I realize that no one's going to ever pay me the money that they owe. I've won court cases before in other businesses. I was in a business where a guy stiffed me for $5,000. I went to court, I won it, and the judge told me right on the spot, he's not going to pay you. And so I realized then and there that no one wins in court. Always stay out of court. And the minute you start talking about litigation, your lawyers get really, really happy.
Yeah, the lawyers win. That's why. Lawyers always win or lose, they win in court.
And I love lawyers. Respect to lawyers. I'm not saying that they're doing anything wrong. I'm just saying that that's just the game.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I mean, I have a lot of friends that are lawyers, and I know they really just want to win. And that's why they're all alcoholics, because it's like a 50-50 shot no matter what.
Smoke a lot of cigars too.
Yeah. I have one attorney friend. He smokes 5 or 6 a day.
Yeah.
It's just like,
so, we're all just people, man. I'm sure in Bunny's mind, he probably thinks he's right. The same way I think I'm right. I think my facts lean much more towards right, because we were already in use. But no one's right. Everyone's right. Everyone's wrong at the same time. It doesn't matter.
I think you're both at the mercy of whatever caseworkers assigned to this.
That's where I feel like you're wrong. I could care less. I only filed for it just to protect myself a little bit, just to show that I have a product out already, not one that, is going to come out. And when the hell was he going to drop it? It's Easter and it's Year of the Rabbit, dude. Get it out by Easter. That's why we waited till Easter. We had this 2-3 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. What are you going to wait till August? Or are you going to wait till PCA? You don't even have a booth. What are you doing? Bro, come on. This whole thing is childish and silly. And if they want to put out a Year of the Wabbit, they should be able to put out a Year of the Wabbit. I won't stop them. He's got it on his site now for $1,000. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Selling $1,000 Year of the Wabbit cigar. Ours only costs $12. And they're better. So this is what I say. Let him produce the cigar. We'll both send you the cigar. You smoke them both, and you decide who wins. And I'll stop. I won't sell them ever again.
But that's still subjective. Like 50% could love your cigar. 50% could love this cigar.
This cigar is gonna be way better. It's not gonna be subjective. Yeah. This is a banger of a cigar. People are gonna talk about this cigar. Wait till you see Instagram today. It's gonna be nuts.
Where did you source this cigar from?
This was made at the Annex, which is a factory that AJ built for Privada Cigar Club.
So AJ. Okay, so I've heard of the Annex recently, and I thought maybe it was just like a small room in one of their factories. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but we lost you visually.
Yeah, let me just replace the battery real quick.
Okay.
I'll be up in 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
That's embarrassing.
No big deal.
These new Canon cameras just eat batteries up so fast.
We get we have one that we can keep plugged in.
Yeah, I need to get one of those.
There you go.
Yeah. I had a battery standing by just in case.
All right, cool.
So it was I was told about the Annex. It's like newish, like the last 6 months, but
no, it's about a year since people have been working.
It's been open and like producing.
Yeah.
Okay. But
maybe a little longer.
From what I heard, it sounded like it was like a room in one of AJ's factories.
Mm-mm.
So what exactly is the Annex?
It's one big room. It's a factory in downtown Esteli that he opened up. I believe the thinking was, and I'm not saying he wasn't going to open that factory. I don't know if he was or he wasn't, but one day he came to me after we started doing business and he was like, this is the Privada factory. He put our logo on the front of it. And I think him putting the logo on the front told me that this guy's serious about partnering with us. He's the best manufacturer in cigars all around. He's the fucking Michael Jordan of this shit. I'm telling you, he's already won the Lifetime Achievement Award. He's younger than me, and he's already done all this. He's got the best tobacco that I've tasted out of every place. Doesn't matter, Cuban or not. This guy is a mad genius when it comes to this, and we are very proud to be represented by him and to have our cigars made at that factory.
I will say the one person I've never heard a bad thing about in the entire industry is AJ Fernandez. I've heard from different manufacturers and like a lot of shop owners are like we wouldn't have opened if he didn't help us. Like he's out there just doing good for everybody.
He certainly helped us. He loves the Privada members. The Privada members love him, and he shows us love and support and gets us cigars that we probably shouldn't even have sometimes. So I'm just forever grateful. And to all the brands that he represents and makes cigars for, I have so much respect for. That's family.
So I want a full disclosure, right?
Yeah.
Like when I first started researching this, when I saw your video, I always think your videos are very entertaining. A lot of people look at what Brian did again. I was like, what did Brian do? Let me see. So I started researching this, and originally I was gonna do like a hit piece, right? I was just gonna like find all the bad shit I could say about you, tear apart your video. And then like as I thought about it, I was like, that's not fair. I don't know anything about Brian. I've never smoked his cigars, and that's when I went to an LCA shop, which is like close to my house. Forget what it's called. Cigars something in Pembroke Pines.
Oh, yeah. I know the guy. Great shop.
Yeah. So I went in there acting coy just to see if he would say anything bad about you.
Okay.
I was like, what do you think of his great shop? I love the shop. Let's see. Let me give him credit where credit's due. Cigar State.
Yes.
Cigar State. I went in there, acted coy, didn't act like I knew it. Acted like I didn't know shit about cigars. I was looking at the LCA stuff. He goes, "Oh, you want some LCA cigars?" I was like, "Yeah." I grabbed a couple, and then I was like, "What do you think about Privada? What are your thoughts about this company?" And he's like, "Honestly, if it wasn't for them, there's so many small companies that would never get off the ground." He's like, "We got shelf space. We have these salesmen coming in that go to schools. Like, they're like, I need this much shelf space. Like, they would just never get any attention at all. And if it wasn't for Privada, a lot of these unknown brands wouldn't be out there making money today."
You wouldn't know who Padilla is.
Yeah, I wouldn't know who Padilla was. Yeah, I mean,
So there's a lot of that. I'm so proud of that, Law. I cannot tell you that is the legacy we will leave behind. You'll be 60, right?
Yeah.
And you'll be like, "Oh, Privada, they used to do that." But that person won't see that. What that person's going to see is they're going to see our documentary on smoke signals and how we got a guy to go to Peru and give us the behind the scenes of what it takes. How we went to AJ's facility and filmed just a piece of the process that took me 8 hours to film. Law, you've done some really good video work. Let me ask you a question. What does it cost you to go to something like TPE? What did that cost you in production?
It cost us about $8,000.
Okay.
To go film a few interviews.
Yeah. So $8,000. That sounds about right to me, to get there and back and edit and all that stuff and the equipment. So I don't think it'll come as a surprise to you to tell you that I dedicate about $250,000 a year just to the content production. And that's money that I could easily just take home and not spend on that and not employ those people and not give generations to come the education and the real rich history that this industry has to offer. That's what I'm donating. The reason why no one can compete with me is because they're not willing to take that paycheck cut. I am.
That documentary in Peru, is Peru or Costa Rica?
We did Costa Rica, Peru, Dominican Republic. I mean, we're with the Kellners. I'm giving speeches at the Kellner family reunion in honor of Jopito Kellner. Big shout out to Jopito Johannes. Rest in peace, Jopito. We're dropping that product at PCA this year. It's got real Mirap Fel Cameroon wrapper. Most of you don't know you're being lied to about Cameroon. You're not smoking real Cameroon. Man,
hold up. Did you just say you're going to be at PCA this year?
Yes.
That's going to make some waves.
We are not only going to make waves, it's going to be the most exciting PCA that they've had in years. We're going to do everything we can to promote the PCA for not only the work that they're doing in DC, but for keeping this trade show going. I can't say I'll show up every year. I'm just saying that I'm going to show up this year. And PCA has been like this. You going to PCA? I don't know. You going to PCA? You going to PCA? I don't know. You going to PCA? Then someone goes, "How is it? Was it great?" And then, it was all right, or it was cool this year. Actually, there was a lot of people there this year. That this year it's not going to be a choice. If you're not at PCA, you're not a part of the cigar industry, the scene. You're going to miss out. But this PCA, you're going to miss out. And we're going to do what we always do, which is rethink, reevaluate, and come up with the coolest way to spread craft cigar culture, honoring the people that actually make these products.
Are you going as an exhibitor or as an attendee?
I think like everything in between. We have like 6 booths. It's going to be nuts. It's just going to be, I'm not going to leak because now I see everyone's really watching. Like, I don't want anyone else coming out with what I'm going to come out with at that thing. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be the most watched booth. And the funny part is I'm in the worst section of the PCA. Like, I'm hidden, okay? But we're going to be the most watched booth.
For me, the most interesting part is that a lot of the people you've had these social media disputes with are going to be there in person. Yeah. And is that going to be the first time like you've met any of these people in person?
No.
Like Fuente, Matt
Fuente,
Booth, obviously,
Fuente it will be, but I do business with his partners, and Fuente knows that I have nothing but respect for him and his family, and I look forward to trying to record that rich heritage in that family and that city, and display that, because while other people have done documentaries on these families, they haven't done it with our audience. And this audience is the core of the future of cigars. These are 25 to 45-year-olds, probably like yourself, that are young. We're different. We look at cigars differently. We're more interested in the nuances and the history and the stories behind these products. And we're not trying to commoditize cigars. So this is a really key moment. Remember, we had the cigar boom of the 90s. Then we had the boutique movement. Now we're having this craft cigar movement. And it's going to be extremely important to the future of not just Privada, not just the cigar industry, but cigar manufacturing as well.
Have you spoken to Fuente since you guys had your public spat?
I don't know if you call an email speaking, but I spoke with his people. His people ganged up on me in a meeting one time. They ambushed me and they were like, how could you do? And I'm like, guys, I didn't do anything disrespectful. All I said was, Carlito, are you talking to me, Carlito? Because they were ganging up on me. But, I'm sure in due time, hopefully I'll get the chance to drink with him, have a cigar, and explain to him why I actually thought I was doing a favor, because my people don't smoke a lot of Fuente, and he makes a good product. So I just thought it was a win-win for everyone. The same way that Padilla turned around to you and said, boy, when I put my emotions aside and I just used my brain, I realized it was actually good for me. Great. That's how it's supposed to be. When Floyd Mayweather goes out and berates a guy in the press conference, he still hugs him after the fight, and it was better for that guy's career. It was probably the best thing that ever happened, fighting Floyd Mayweather. So I never felt like I disrespected the man. I just was a little coy and maybe a little I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I think he overreacts sometimes. Like when he to the CRA thing, I thought he overreacted to that. But also
I didn't like the language he used. He basically called us assholes. Hey, you young assholes, stop. It was like, all right, guy. And he was the third person to already do this.
Well, you don't shy away from using colorful language either, though.
No, but not. I don't think I would call someone that I haven't met in the industry an asshole. Yeah. But listen, he wasn't calling me direct. Look, it's gonna be great. It's all good.
When it came to your response to the cease and desist, you're like, I don't know who this fucking guy Bunny Droppings is. I don't know who the fuck this is.
But I don't know him like that.
In a previous video, you have given him a shout out, so you did know who he was.
I know, yeah, I've seen the guy in the pink bunny suit for sure. Yeah. We had a phone call one time, but we don't speak. I'm not up to date on every product the guy puts out, and I'm not interested. Yeah. So I don't know where his cigars come from. Why would I want to smoke those? Actually, I do know where his cigars come from, and that's part of the reason I don't want to smoke them. So
it's a really big, small industry. Or it's a really small, big industry. One of those two. Mm-hmm. Like it's everybody knows everybody. But he did tell me that
Privada cuts through that though. We don't know everybody. We just know the people that we need to know.
He told me that you invited him to be part of the cigar public before.
There's an open invite to everyone in this industry to get on the next wave of cigar media. I think Half Wheel does a great job of documenting actual industry stuff. Cigar Public is going to be the new aficionado. That's the way I see it. And so when I meet young people like yourself that have a passion for this thing of ours, I always say, hey, that's an open door to, I don't know, we're getting 100,000 people every 3 months. So that's like 30,000 people a month are going to that site and checking it out and saying, oh, what are these products that I've never heard of? So and I'm not charging anyone right now. You know what I'm saying? So that tells you the kind of person I am. That's what I'm here to do. You think it's free? There's another $60,000 in one person's, there's another $140,000 that I put into adding to this culture, because what happens is people check out cigars and they walk into a cigar shop and they see the same 6 guys sitting there talking about Hillary Clinton the whole time. And they're like, fuck this shit. I felt stupid when I was trying to pick out cigars. I felt like an idiot left-wing person, even though I'm not left-wing, but these old guys are so hardcore right that they made me feel like just because I'm young, I'm some Democrat or something. That's what happens in a lot of cigar shops. So what I wanted to do right from the beginning with the culture is change the culture so that it's not so dusty, because what happens when you have these dusty cultures of the guy in the strip mall, the same 6 dudes sitting there that are probably going to, no offense to anyone, probably not going to be here in another 15 years, it becomes really easy to attack that industry. When you have young, vibrant people, football players, baseball players, lawyers, doctors smoking cigars, it becomes a lot harder to sign off on these bills because your cousin smokes cigars, your friends smoke cigars, and they're healthy people.
Yes.
So why am I going to listen to this that has no science behind it saying that it's not? I'm not saying it is healthy. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, like, why am I going to listen to this science that's not there's no science on it. They haven't done enough with. So why would I sign off on this bill? That's what we're hoping for. We're hoping to create enough young, healthy cigar smokers that are active in the culture, that have a passion for the craft, so that when the FDA and people like that do look into cigars, they say, whoa, this is different. This is not vape. This isn't cigarettes. This isn't an old taxi driver with a cigar in his mouth all day. This is different. This is like wine now. We're getting into craft culture territory. Maybe there should be some differential treatment for this part of tobacco because it's untreated and it's a craft product.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Like, the number one comment I get on my videos is, enjoy your cancer, and I'm just like, hey, look, the FDA did a long-term study and they found that people that smoke 2 cigars or less, 2 premium cigars or less a day have no discernible health effects.
I don't know that was a real study, and I can't find any real data on that. But all I can tell you is I used to worry a lot. I would get my throat scoped like once every 2-3 years and all that shit just to make sure nothing's going on. And then I started going to factories and meeting 80-year-old guys that smoke 12 cigars a day. And I'm like, okay, there's a gene probably, that maybe if you have it and you're exposed to certain things, or you're just going to get it no matter what. I mean, I know a guy who got lung cancer and he never smoked a cigarette or a cigar in his day of his life.
And you hear about that all the time. Yeah.
So, it could be genetic, but hey, I'm willing to go out that way because I love this shit so much. I'm not going to stop because, unless something were to happen to me physically where it's like, okay, you can quit or you can die. All right, maybe I would. But I mean, this is my other family. I have a family from 5 o'clock on and weekends, and I have the business, and this is my family too. And, I'm ride or die for this shit. Cigars are everything to me.
Yeah. I agree. I love cigars. I love the whole culture. Like I sabotaged a very successful business of mine so I could work in cigars. I just let it die.
Well, we need you, and I have no shame in saying that. And like I said in this interview, please call Danny. You're not getting the exposure that you should be getting. Let's get you some exposure. We don't even have to be friends. I don't care. Eventually, yes, we will charge for ads. Sure, of course, big companies that want to sell you things should pay for ads, but that will pay for these people's salaries, which I'm footing the bill on now. Why? Because I love this thing, and we need a better representation than just Half Wheel. I love what Half Wheel does, but it's not very culture driven. It's very factual, and that's cool. And I've learned a lot there, and I highly recommend that people check out both Half Wheel and Cigar Public.
Yeah, we're in the same boat as you pretty much right now. We're getting about 30,000 views per month, and we're we've had a few manufacturers reach out and be like, hey, we want to sponsor you. And I'm like, no, we want to wait till we have bigger numbers so we can really charge you. Like we're not doing this $100-$200 a year deal that some people do.
I know.
So
you had guys like Cigar Coop and Dojo, they were kind of a thing, but it never really took off the way I think they wanted it to. And I think that there's reasons for that. I think timing, it has a lot to do with everything. It's nothing personal about what they did or didn't do. I just think timing is a mug, and timing has been on our side, thank God.
I think it's hard to figure out how any of us make money, right? Like if you look at us, we're creating our own content. We're heavily in debt. Like we're like 60,000 in debt just working on our own content, but we make content for other companies as well. And on that side, we're heavily revenue positive.
Well, that's why most of these guys will come and go and Privada will be here. That's just the reality of it. In 2 years from now, we'll probably laugh when this thing even comes up. It'll be like, where's that guy now? I mean, I can't tell you how many times it's been like, where is that dude now? So it's like, man, if you do have to figure out how to make money from your passion eventually, otherwise you end up having to do other things.
Yeah, I agree. Well, on that note, like that's pretty much everything I had to come at you with.
You got me. Yeah. I'd love to know who's paying for this thing though, man, because like I said, I'd hate to believe that it's Matt. It's just optically, even you said like, yeah, that's his friend. Like they're always together. Like, so he must know, like, I'm just shocked no one reached out to me. I'm shocked. I'm a little hurt by that. But I don't have time to be hurt. I got time to make 450 shops, great cigars. I got time to make the members the best cigars in the world. And that's really it. I don't have time to go back and forth on this.
Let me just look that up real quick. 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just want to confirm this. Let's see. Okay, yes. Because I got a screenshot of that your number is blocked from Bunny Boy, but it is your old number.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
I just want to make sure.
You're really helping me out. And by the way, these are all things, Law, that I want to come out and like some people. I've had people tell me, bro, what's with all the fucking drama? And it's like, dude, I can't help it if someone's bringing me this shit. There is so much more that I could sit on my soapbox and tell you, bro. Just like that, all these things that you're asking me, I would love to just come at it, but I will not waste my members' time, my viewers' time with my personal bullshit. We only have time for cigars. So if it gets to this point where people are interviewing and doing, and again, kudos to you, man. You're like the only person I've ever met in this industry that does any like research. Well, so one thing I just want to say this, Cigar Aficionado, there's a reason why they were Cigar Aficionado, and it wasn't just timing. The articles that they used to put out, the back in the day stuff that they did was they had access to things that it just wasn't in video, which is unfortunate. So now I'm trying to capture a lot of this stuff in video and capture the newer, processes and things that are being used as well, and the newer players. So, shout out to Cigar Aficionado. Without them, this industry wouldn't have been what it's become.
That's true. I do think they're a dying brand for sure. Like print media just doesn't work anymore, and they're
80. They're in their 80s.
Yeah, but
Marv Shankin is in his 80s. He lives half the year like in Florida probably.
I would have retired way before that. I would have cashed out way before that.
Hey, the guy's a legend in my book. I'll tell you that forever.
Yeah, he's also made some enemies too. I know a few people that curse his name whenever it's said. But I do have to give a shout out to my boys over at the Dead Leaf Breakfast Club because they know more.
Stop using Privada to plug your other clubs, bro. Come on, man.
But like half the questions.
Cool.
Thank you. Half the questions I have are because they know a lot more than I do.
So tell me more about the Dead Leaf Breakfast Club because I heard of a Dead Leaf Club, but not the Breakfast Club.
So we're like a bunch of cigar photographers.
Wow.
We just all get together and we help each other like grow our mostly Instagram followings with, some of us do YouTube. But they're just some extremely talented photographers that are fucking hilarious. I love all of them. Like if I'm having a bad day, I just open up the chat and like, I just start cracking up. They're so funny.
WhatsApp chat?
We have a Discord and we have an Instagram group.
Okay.
So, and it's just, and people are always helping each other. We're always promoting each other's stuff. Like, and we're starting to do brand deals with companies and starting to make a little profit.
Bro, Cigar Public. Get on there. Make this club really known. Build a brand. That's what it's there for. You want to sell stuff on my site? Call me. Let's see if it makes sense. Like, that's who I am. I'm not the call my lawyer guy and sue someone unless they're doing something that's just so fucked up that's my only choice. That's my only recourse. You know what I mean? So that's who I am. I don't know who Bunny is other than the pink suit.
I mean, I had a fascinating conversation with him the other day. I think he's very interesting. There are people in this industry that I do not like or get along with. Maybe I respect them.
That's going to happen.
But it's very few.
But my thing is what are you adding to the culture? And I think he needs to go back and sit down and think about that. What are you adding or are you taking away now? Because right now you're taking away. Sure, you're adding numbers, but numbers don't matter if you can't bring something to the table. And I just think that it's really funny watching you and your friends spend money on a lawsuit that's probably unwinnable. And even if it is winnable, I'm going to have to pay out. It's nothing. Move on. Let's go. What are we talking about here? So spend your money if you want to. I'm not.
Well, if they have deep backers, then I think it's probably like a slap suit. Like they don't care whether they win or lose. They just make you spend a lot of money on lawyers.
Spend your money. So they're spending their money. Good for them.
So do you have a background in law? Because you seem to be pretty well versed in it.
No. I did. People don't notice. I'm not going to talk about that. But I don't have much of an education, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, there's tons of extremely successful people that don't.
I've read a lot of books. A lot of books. In my 20s, I got into, I don't know where I fit it in between doing gigs and partying like an animal. But I fit in a lot of self-help and business books, and I learned a lot. I also had my father is not some entrepreneur that anyone's writing books about. I think he's always just gotten by, but his common sense of business was ingrained in me in the, during the times that we spent together. And, he's brilliant. And he passed some of that on to me, and I appreciate that. And then the art comes from my mother's side. They were all artists, graphic artists, literature, things like that. So I really have a good acumen to be a creative entrepreneur, and I'm really lucky to be able to have a platform where people can appreciate or hate my work, but at least I get that out to the world. And that's where, like you said, you just uncovered, Brian was heavily involved in the blending process. I don't consider that being heavily involved in the blend. That doesn't make me a master blender. And I think a lot of people got carried away with that kind of stuff. Just because you want the cigar spicier doesn't mean you're a master blender. You're not a master blender until you can walk in, look at your ingredients, and start making bangers. And I'll get to that point too, but I still won't call myself a master blender. It's not my place to take the place of the people that actually make these products. That's what I'm here to do, shine light on them.
And those people that are master blenders, they just don't get the credit they deserve, because making something delicious is easy. Making something delicious that burns evenly and stays lit.
Yes. Now you're getting it. Yes.
And then you change the vitola, so you got to change the blend and still make it taste similar.
And that's what we're here to do. We're here to explain how hard that is and shine light on the people that do it really well.
Yeah. I agree.
So I appreciate you doing this. You uncovered a lot of things that I've wanted to get off my chest, and you did it in a way that's very organic and natural, because it is. It's just a conversation between two guys, which hopefully becomes your highest watched video of all time. I'm just hoping. I'm throwing out wishes out there. But please like, share, subscribe, and regardless whether Law hates me in a year from now or likes me, eventually he'll like me again, and support this man, because I've not yet been interviewed by anyone who's done this much research into actual people in our industry, and I think it's really amazing. The only other person to give me an interview this good was Darren, who just went over to the PCA. He used to be at TPE, or Tobacco Business Magazine. Is it Darren? Deep Cuts with Antoine Reed. That's my man right there. Antoine Reed. I love that guy. He's another guy that I wanted to hire. I couldn't afford him. So look, It's all Privada, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sit here. I'm humble in a lot of ways, and I'm really confident. And the confident sometimes, and I apologize that it may come across as being cocky, but I can tell you that it's coming from a good place. I see this culture growing. I see the passion for it growing within the consumer. This is the first time the consumers really, there's always been those, what they called cigar nerds or cigar heads, right? But now everyone in cigars is starting to get like this, and it's awesome. It makes room for a lot of good things to happen. I see Privada being one of the biggest retailers in this industry within the next 5 to 10 years, probably the biggest, more the best. Giving back to the culture. I want to start all types of programs that give back to these people, that get them a little bit more money, that allow you to get products made specifically for you the way you like it. There's a lot of cool stuff that will be done. And we just got into Canada. Shout out to all our Canada members. You're going to be able to come back here in another week or two. And then once Europe, I don't know if you know this or not, but in Europe, we're like Cuban cigars in America. We are forbidden fruit in Europe.
Yes.
They are nuts for our stuff. And we're working on things, to potentially get there. Unfortunately, there's a lot of red tape with Europe, so we're working through it, and we're coming.
Our club has members in Shanghai and Australia and Europe, and like they're all just like always like, how can I sneak these cigars in?
And the same way that you took the time and didn't bash me and actually asked questions and then got me on the line and did this interview, and now you're probably going to, even if you don't like me after this, at least you can understand where I'm coming from and you won't hate me as much. And I think that you'll end up falling in love with our products, and that's like an amazing situation. So what I have to say to all the people out there that do hate is join. Don't hate. You're not going to beat us. Just join it. Get in the movement. Craft cigar. If you're really making cigars, come on down, man. Let's get you a showcase and a spotlight.
The funny thing about that is when I bought your cigars, because that's where like I first started like giving you the benefit of the doubt, is I was like, let me at least smoke his cigars before I talk any shit. And then the shop owner is like, hey, I love the Mad Monkey. Try the Mad Monkey. And I was like,
not my favorite cigar.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. But then I was like, let me get that Spirits Scotch one. Like I love Scotch.
Great
I would
cigar.
like to see if it pairs with Scotch. And I tried that one, and I was shocked that they were the same price, because just on the design, like you have that foil package with a Boveda pack inside, so it's like fresh as hell. And that wrapper was like way higher quality. And I couldn't believe they're both $12 cigars. And so that was a really good smoke. I enjoyed it.
The Mad Monkey is as expensive to make as the other one, even with that packaging on it, believe it or not. And so that's all we do. It's just a formula. Is we don't want to overcharge for cigars, and we certainly don't want the shops overcharging for cigars. So we have a formula in place. We know what we need to do to keep running and to fund all these different projects, and that's how we price the cigar. It's never like, oh, what can we get out of these? I'm not here to sell cigars. Selling cigars is awesome. The thing I love about selling cigars is it raises my buying power, and it raises my buying power. That's more love that I can show to the right manufacturers. That's more shape that I can help create in this culture. And so that's really awesome. But I was doing this before I was making money, and I'm gonna be doing it after the money were to not be in the thing. I love being involved. I love the art. I love telling these brands stories. So please, even if we've had miscommunications in the past, or you don't like me out there, to the manufacturers, come on down, man. There's a positive community of great people that are waiting to try your products. And if you're good at what you do and you're passionate about what you do, it's going to shine. They're going to fall in love with you, and we can all coexist very, 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 very successfully. So.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I just want to plug myself real quick. We're Republic of Debauchery. I didn't
Republic of Debauchery. Well, it's going to be on your channel too. And I can repost it on my channel if you let me. So
absolutely, I would love that.
And we'll put it on Cigar Public and all that stuff. And that's what it's all about, man. Sharing that love. I'm not building these platforms just to make myself the king of cigars. That's not me. That is not me. I'm looking forward to the day where I can turn the Privada content into MTV. I'm gonna have guys like you. You might even be here. Guys like Joe Knows, people that care about tobacco, that are important and have a story to tell. And then I'm gonna bring you. I'll fly you in for a week. I'll bring you 3 different cigar manufacturers. Tear it up all week. The camera crew is yours, and the studio's yours. And then next week we'll try this, and that's how I want it to be. The only reason why I became the face of this thing is because I wasn't going to sit behind and not say the things that needed to be said, and that required me getting in front of the camera, and then from there it just boosted everything into what it is now. So
honestly, every time you do it, everybody wins. Like you get more notoriety. I know Bunny Boy got a brand, he got a deal out of it. He's gonna make more money.
He's probably gonna buy himself a Corvette after this.
I mean, I would like a Corvette. Hopefully you can fight with me soon so I can get some more money.
You just have to lie about me.
I just can't do that. That's not in me.
I know, and I appreciate that. And by the way, I appreciate your service. I hope you know that. And Matt, and I didn't know Bunny. You just gave me a newfound respect for the guy.
Yep. Yeah, he was in the Army.
He's a serviceman. I respect that tremendously. Law enforcement, firefighters, and service people, and doctors. And I mean, you know, we're forgetting about the civil community out here that's keeping this thing going, and it's not right. So. Yeah, man. I listen. For me, this is over. I'll hang it up right now. He can come out with his. I won't come after him for it. I don't care. I hope he makes all the money in the world and he gets to do whatever he does with that money. I don't want to stop him from making money. Unfortunately, right now it seems that he and his rich friends do want to stop me from making money, and they're not willing to come out in front of the camera and say, fuck Brian. They're willing to hire lawyers behind the scenes and, do this kind of stuff.
Hey, people play to their strengths, and going head to head with you on social media, it's not most people's strength.
Appreciate it, Law. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to watching this. Please get it out as soon as possible because the Year of the Wabbit is in stores. It is being sold, and 450 brick and mortars across this great country are profiting because of that. And about, 20,000 cigar smokers are laughing their asses off when they look at the box. They're taking it home. It's a collectible. They'll keep it in their underwear drawer when they're done smoking it or something. And Privada will be a part of their cigar smoking journey. And that is something to be proud of. So,
all right, man. Appreciate it.
Hey.
Take it easy.